We're going to take a look at CAD Model Features Part 3. This is called Holes. We'll get to try the Inventor feature holes, and we'll also put some center points down in sketch mode. Okay, so here's the drawing we're trying to imitate. So to begin with, we're just going to start with the large circle at a diameter of 4 inches and extrude that 1.5. Alright, now we're ready to put the center points on the front face of this. So we'll put another sketch on there to do that. The first thing we're going to do, just to help our sketch, is put down this construction circle here. Okay, and that's really just to help us visualize where those circles are going to go. So I'm going to turn on the construction tool. And I'll select circle, and that circle has a diameter of 2.5. Now I'm going to turn off the construction tool, and now I'm going to start placing points which would mark the center of the holes. Okay, so there's 5 holes we're going to make, and you can kind of think about it like if you were drilling holes into this, you would need to have that center point marked where you would put the head of the drill. So we're going to do the same thing here, and we'll start by just placing one center point, and then we can do a circular pattern to get the other ones. Okay, so I select point, and I have center point selected over here by the construction tool. Okay, there is a difference between a point and a center point, and for this, if we put a center point down, Inventor knows we have holes to follow up, whereas a point, it won't necessarily find those points for us later on. So it's better for us if we select center point. Okay, so I'm going to place one center point, and I'll zoom in just so you can see what it looks like. It's just a green cross. All right, now rather than try to find the spots for the other 4s, we can just do a circular pattern of this center point around the center of that circle, and we want 5 of them. Okay, so we're finished sketch, and we're ready to start placing some holes. And so because we have center points down there, when I select the hole feature, it automatically, you can see it's generating here these default holes. I don't think it would have done that if we just put points down. Now each hole, to get our practice, is going to be slightly different than the other ones. Alright, so at this moment we just want to select the very first one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down the control key and press the center of each one of these to unselect it. Okay, so I only have the first hole selected right now. And I have what are called hole notes here, and this is what I'm going to use to try to just give a brief lesson on what these mean when we set the dimensions correctly. All right, but you can also scroll down below, and it'll show you for each hole the options you should select. Okay, and it has one for each of the holes. All right, so starting with our first hole, we have the diameter symbol of 0.25. So the diameter of this hole is 0.25, and it is through, right, which just means the depth goes all the way through our object. All right. So the default gives us a diameter of 0.25, all right, and it does go all the way through. So this one, we do want to just apply the default settings here. Okay, and we've got that hole in there. You can see it goes all the way through. Okay, we're ready to put the next hole down, but you can see our center points aren't there anymore. Those center points were part of the previous sketch. That sketch was consumed once we put the hole down, but we can go back and use that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to hit the plus sign here so I can see that sketch. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to do share sketch. And so essentially what that's doing is it's taking that sketch that was consumed and it's allowing us to share it for another feature. So I'm going to select hole again, and this time it selects the 4 remaining center points. So we'll go through and unselect again the other ones we don't want. Okay, so this symbol right here lets us know we have a counter bore, and I think it'll become clear in a second what a counter bore is. But we have the main part of the hole is 0.375, and that goes through. The counter bore part has a diameter of 0.75 and a depth of 0.25. All right, so I'm going to select the counter bore option. That's the second one here. And now we have more dimensions. Okay, so this part here, which I refer to as the main part of the hole, all right, that was 0.375 for the diameter. All right, the diameter on the counter bore, all right, is always larger, and that's 0.75. And then the depth of the counter bore was 0.25, and this was going all the way through. So you can think of a counter bore if you were needed a place to hide, or you didn't want the bolt head or the screw head to be on top of what you're making. You put a counter bore in there, then that head will sit underneath the flat surface. So instead of hitting OK, I'm just going to hit apply. All right, that kind of saves me one step and it takes me right into the next one. So same thing, this time I'm going to unselect those two. All right, we're dealing with hole number 3 here. All right, so this is similar to counter bore. This is a countersink hole. All right, so that lets us know the countersink. So we've got 0.375 through, and the top diameter is 0.75, and it's at 82 degrees. Okay, so countersink is the 4th option. All right, and actually the default options here are the correct ones. So we have 0.375 for the main part, the countersink, a diameter of 0.75, and that's angled at 82 degrees. So we'll apply that. All right, moving on to the next one, we will unselect the 5th hole, and we're working on the 4th one here. Okay, so this is a thread note. All right, so this isn't just a typical hole. This is threaded, so it's the sort of thing you could drive with a screw with a screwdriver in. So we've got a 1/4 20 UNC-1B at a depth of 0.75. Okay, so the 1/4, that's a 1/4 of an inch, that's the diameter. The 20 is the pitch, which essentially lets you know how many threads per inch there are. So there's 20 threads per inch. And then the UNC and the 1B is just a way of classifying. Okay, so I'm going to select the tapped hole option, and I'm going to go back to our drilled hole here. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the size. It was a 1/4 inch, so I'm looking for 0.25. All right, that gives me the 1/4 20 UNC. The class was 1B. And I think that gets everything. Let's just go back and take a look. A 1/4 20 UNC 1B at a depth of 0.75. And we've got the depth of 0.75 right there. All right, and now the last one, so now we don't have to unselect anything because this is the last option here. And there's not a whole note for this. So this one I'm actually going to scroll down and take a look at the options they want us to follow here. So this is our clearance hole. All right, so we're going to select the second option here. It's ANSI unified screw threads. The fastener would be the hex head bolt. Size is a 1/2 inch and the fit is normal. All right, so we got the ANSI by default. The fastener we're going to change to hex head. The size was a 1/2 inch and the fit was normal. We'll say OK. All right, so we've got all our holes there. Just 2 steps to finish this up. Because we shared this sketch, it's visible. So just to clean that up, I'm going to right click on our sketch 2 there and just turn off the visibility. And then let's give this some color. I'm going to go with glossy gold. All right, and you can save that, and we're all done.